Hello guys, welcome back to another Ro-Ghoul video, and on this video, I'll be showing you the 3 best stat builds you can use as of 2025, because the last stat build video I made was like 10 months ago, and now we have new stats. Well, not really new stats since Alex just removed the speed and the physical, so we pretty much just get extra points added on whatever we want to add it to. Now keep in mind this is all based on my experience so far with this new stats, so if you have any stat recommendation for other people to use, the comments are always open. So without further ado, let us begin. So the first stat build recommendation I have for you guys is this one, the 4000 Kagane and the 2000 durability. Now this stat build is what I call the new toxic build, which is before it was called the toxic build since it has only 2000 durability and it actually had 3700 Kagane, which since the physical and the speed is now removed, so we get extra 300 points. So now the Kagane or the Quinke stat is 4000, which is great since you can deal more damage now. I like using this stat build when I'm PvPing with people, especially when I'm using the Ginkoi in the CCG or when I'm using the Takizawa here in the Kagane or Ghouls. But currently I am using the Koshi since I am farming. This stat build is actually also really good for farming because of course it deals a lot of damage and you have a decent amount of durability. And I do actually recommend this stat build if you're very aggressive in PvP just like me, when you don't care about dying, you just want to kill people and pretty much just spamming skills. If you like spamming skills, then I recommend using this stat build because boom, as you guys can see, you deal a lot of damage, but of course there is some squishiness to your kit. But if you're good enough dodging skills, then this stat build is gonna work for you, because personally this stat build works for me. And there it is. This is the new toxic build, an even better toxic build actually, so credits to the person who invented the toxic build. And for the next stat build I'm going to show you guys is, this is what I mostly use to like grind Gyakusatsu now. So only 1000 in durability, and the rest stats I'm going to put it to the Kagane or the Quinke. Now, I mostly use this stat build when I'm farming the Gyakusatsu or when I'm using the Kajiri or actually even the Owl. But since I'm not in the CCG right now, this is the stat build that I use when I'm using Koshi and also farming the Gyakusatsu. And if you guys didn't know, I'm actually very ready for the Noro revamp. I have over 220 hearts, boom. And I'm not sure how much RC that's gonna give me. The yen is not a problem anymore since I have 374 million yen. And the Noro only costs like 50 million. I'm not sure if Alex is gonna adjust the price, but as of the making of this video, Noro is currently 1 billion yen, which is crazy. But I'm glad that Alex is gonna adjust the price back to 50 million, so I am so ready for the Noro revamp. I have already pre-farmed, and the way I pre-farm for Noro is I use this Koshi, and I use this stat build, and I farm Gyakusatsu. I call this stat build the Gyakusatsu farming stat build. I know that is kind of long, but I can't think of any other name to be honest. Maybe just the standard glass build, I guess. But yeah, you can call this the glass build or like the farming stat build. And yeah, that's basically it. I recommend this stat build if you're planning to just grind and not PvP. Well, this stat build is actually kind of viable for PvP as well if you're really good at dodging opponent's skills, but it's not as good as the toxic build or the new toxic build since you're very squishy on this one. And I think this would be good if you're really good at hitting your opponents with your skills. But yeah, that's basically it for the glass build. Pretty much just a standard glass build. And the last stat build I have for you guys is the standard build, which is just only 2500 durability. That is actually how much durability I had way back when I first started playing Ro-Ghoul. And like, you know, when I finally reached max level, this is the amount of durability I had, and the rest is onto the Kagane. Now this stat build is actually what I call the standard build, because I would say not really most people, but maybe around like 65% of people uses this stat build. You know, it's kind of balanced. You have some durability and you also deal quite a decent amount of damage. Now, my experience using this stat build, I did so well in PvPs because I was fairly tanky enough. I fairly did a good amount of damage. So yeah, if you're looking for like a standard build, you know, if you're still experimenting on what stat build you should do, what's best for you, maybe starting with this standard build, 3500 Kagane and 2500 durability is a good way to start checking on what focus points or stat points you are good at, because of course there is a lot of stat builds you can use. There's actually even also like a stat build where you have over 3000 durability and you also have 3000 Kagane, which I don't think is that good to be honest, but some people actually recommended it to me, so you know, you can go try it on your own. Me personally, I haven't used it yet, but since PvP is more of just trading off skills and like if your opponent hits you, you should hit your opponent as well, so like it's kind of like a trade-off, I guess. So I guess this stat build is good for that. But I don't really know since I'm not really that guy who does PvPs a lot. That is what people recommended to me. Me personally, I wouldn't recommend it yet because of course I haven't even tried this stat build, but that's what I heard people said is good. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know down below what you guys think of these stat builds. If you have any other stat build recommendation, you guys can leave it down below in the comment section so other people can use it. Or if you have any tips on building stat builds or focus points here in Ro-Ghoul, leave it down below. The comment sections are always open. That's going to be it. Thank you guys for watching. Stay out, team. Peace out.